So I'm making another rug. I know, shocker. Shocker! Raise your hand if you're shocked. Exactly. I make rugs. That's what I do. That's the joke. It's like the only thing I've done for the past 2 years is make rugs. And I also make kits to also make rugs, but that's not why we're here. I'm currently working on a rug, and if you want to know a little bit more about the art piece itself, like the ethos behind it, I don't even know if that's the right word. My last video is very extensive. I spent like over a month on it, and it talks about the topics that I was kind of thinking about, the designs, all that stuff. But this video is more of like just a chill video. I kind of want my YouTube to just be whatever I want it to be, and this feels scary to like put out a video that's like highly edited and then one that's just like me sitting and talking for like 40 minutes. But I like listening to videos like this while I do things like this, like make rugs. So this is that kind of video. I've been really thinking about the idea of like, what is my enough over the past like year. Last year, if you don't know, I went through a bit of a burnout. I think I'm still a little bit dealing with the fallout of that, and coming out of it a bit, I really started to focus on my what is my enough when it comes to like running my business and making art and being a person alive today. It's really hard. And yeah, so that's really it. That's all this video is. It's just me talking. I will see you at the end. And let me know your thoughts. What is your enough? Have you thought about that? You know, what type of content do you like watching on YouTube? Yeah, let's get into it. Let's make this rug. Let's work on this rug. We're not going to finish it in this video, spoiler alert, but we will work on it together. And I will see you at the end. I'm not going to move, but it's going to cut to the next scene.
It's looking a bit orange. It's looking a bit orange in here. We're making progress. We are making progress. Working on the blue here. Where's my punch needle? Here she is. I've been really enjoying garden. First of all, this is going to be me, if you even care, all spring. Last year I discovered that you could have a thing called a cut flower garden where you grow flowers specifically for the purpose of cutting to put in bouquets. And it was like, not a light bulb, like a full-on nuclear explosion in my brain. I was like, you can actually do that? That's insane. I want to do that. And I completely failed for a lot of different reasons. I did have flowers, so I didn't fail in growing flowers, but I had no idea how many you had to grow to even just have like one bouquet a week. Like that's all I wanted. It was just like one little not even a bouquet, like a bunch of flowers, just one little bunch to put in my house every week throughout the summer. And I knew nothing, and I still feel like I know nothing, but I know a lot more of the nothing than I used to. So anyways, I've been spending a lot of time out in my garden prepping for spring. I've been starting seeds. While I was researching and falling down the wormhole that is cut flower gardening on YouTube, I have found some like really amazing, relaxing channels. If you want something that's like just chill, just like you don't really have to watch it, but you're also kind of learning something, but it's also just like fun. Allotment gardening channels in the UK are like, there are endless amounts of them. They're so calming. You just get to see other people and how they garden and what they're gardening and all their little allotments. And it's just very like down to earth, homey, cozy content. I just love it. And there are other gardening channels that I enjoy watching. Like I'm watching Georgie Newberry of Common Farm Flowers. I absolutely adore her. I love her. She is just such a fun personality, and she teaches in her video clips, and yeah, I don't know, it's just fun to watch. So if you're wondering what I'm listening to all these many hours, I've been listening to Georgie, and she's been helping me through this rug. And right now she's sowing seeds and talking about the concept of being a business owner and what it means to discover what your like enough is. Like there's this idea that you have to constantly push and grow and be bigger, and I think there are a lot of reasons why someone would want to do that, and all of them are probably very, I can't comment towards that because I'm in a place where I don't feel I need to push for more and to be bigger. Like I'm very satisfied with where everything is, and I could be trying to like expand and do things bigger and better, and like each year improving and like increasing my sales numbers. But for me, that would just mean so much more work, and it would mean that I would have to hire other people, and I work from home, so it would mean having people potentially come into my home or having the overhead of like renting a separate space. But I don't like leaving my house, so then I have the stress of like managing people and training people and then just all that stuff, and I just know that that's not very conducive to me as a person. Like I just don't feel like doing any of that. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't make me go, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the day when I have like a separate office space. Like I do not want to leave my house. I like working here. I want to build a studio shed out in the back, but I want that to be like mine. Like I wouldn't want to have someone come to my house every day and then work in a shed in my backyard, or me work in the shed while they're working in the house. That just seems really weird. So I really like her approach to being a small business, because it's something that in the past like year or so, after going through burnout, I really resonate with. I really feel that. So I like listening to her. It's a very like realistic take at small business thing. I feel like a lot of her things, her ideas and her way of thinking align with mine. And also just gardening videos. Like gardening videos are the best. They're so calming. Most of the people who are making the videos I will say they are tech savvy. A lot of them have good audio. They have like gimbals or drones to like follow them around, but it's not like super showy or flashy. It's very like long form. You can focus. It's not like gonna shorten your attention span, I feel like. So I really like it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm gonna keep working on this. I feel like I might make this video longer and just be like, just enjoy the rug process. Enjoy me talking about random things. I don't know. I like longer videos. And also too, like rugs do take such a long time that when I shorten the videos, I feel like it gives the illusion that, or it could give the illusion that it's happening really fast when it's like over the course of days. And it's just me sitting here like this for hours and hours, listening to gardening allotment videos and Georgie talk about small business and running a flower farm. This is what I want to be doing, not dealing with customer service or fulfilling a huge mountain of orders 24/7, 365. Like I can deal with it in the holidays. I can deal with it in portions where I like set it up where I'm like, okay, I know during these months I want to have a bunch of orders. I'm going to do a bunch of posting on social media. I'm going to have a lot of things coming in, and I'm not going to be making art or being creative. I'm just going to be focusing on like making money and running my business. But then also have periods of time where it's like, not that I'm not running the business and letting it do its thing in the background. Like I just got back from dropping off orders at the post office. But I didn't spend like hours and hours today putting those orders together. And I also feel like in many ways I'm still dealing with the fallout of the burnout, because it changed like the way I thought about things and the way I thought about my business. And I just really can't see myself going back to doing the things that I was doing before. Almost like a traumatic, if you've ever had a traumatic event happen in your life, you feel very different afterwards from the person that you were before. And it's like, wow, I can't believe I was like that, or that I did that, or that I saw the world in that way. And that's how I feel pre-burnout and post-burnout. I'm like, I cannot believe I was doing the things that I was doing. I mean, thank God I was, because it sort of set me up so that I can have these periods of like working on a rug for a day. I can't go back there. So it's like figuring out a way to not go back there and not find myself in that place ever again. Not easy, but I think I'm figuring it out for me. And how it works for me is going to be different than how it works for everyone else. But I just have never subscribed to the idea of like my business has to be bigger and better and I want to be like, you know, crushing my records every year. Like that's just not me. I would rather be like a cheerleader for those people because I cannot handle it. I don't want to. I think I could. I just don't want to. I want to be doing this, you know. And when you're doing that, you can't do this. It doesn't work that way. I think my priorities have shifted post burnout. And that's okay. It's just hard because you're stuck in that way of thinking and way of living. And then you're like, oh, I think I have to reevaluate how I'm living my life now because that old way was not working for me. So now I have to find a new way. And it's more comforting to go back to the old way sometimes. But it almost feels like more soul crushing because you know the end result. You know you don't want to be there for a fact, but you're there anyways, doing those things that you don't like doing. I'm almost done with the blue. I messed up the spelling, but I have to fix that. But I said, that's a problem for future Leela. And I right now am not that future Leela. I will be that future Leela very soon, but not right now. And I had this moment where one of my friends who I worked on a project with a few years ago, they sent me a photo of this punch needle art piece that was at Art Basil, which if you don't know what Art Basil is, in Miami. There's another one, I think there's 2 other ones, I don't know, there's other ones, but there's a Miami Art Basil, and it's an art fair. And basically at an art fair, or at Art Basil, like all the top galleries in the world select certain art pieces and they have a booth in the official convention center, and people with lots of money basically go and shop for the art that they want to put in their fancy lots of money places. But people like me with not lots of money can still go and look around and just look at all the art and see what's being chosen to be presented as like the most sellable, I guess. Anyways, so she sent me this art piece and it was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. And I was like, oh my gosh. And while I was getting that text message, I was working on not this rug, obviously, because that was like months ago, maybe weeks ago. I guess it would have been December. And I was like looking at these art pieces and I was like, this is so simple. Like, and I think most of them are not trash, but like, I don't know. But I was just sort of like in that moment comparing myself, I guess, and my work, because I used to make these paintings that were like very detailed and I felt like they were, I don't know, unique and special in the style. And I think that was part of the appeal. And I still, if I were to paint, would paint in that style. And I feel like these kind of go with that because it's still using text. But anyways, I was looking at this like super complicated, super beautiful, hanging in Art Basil punch needle art piece. And I was like, wow, you know, I'm just using like 3 colors and it's just big words. But the way I've always like approached my art, my serious art, is like, I can't really explain it, but it's almost like a compulsion. Like I have to make it regardless of what it really looks like in the end. And I'm not making this to be in Art Basil. That's never why I've made my art pieces. Like I don't want to be in galleries. I don't want really to sell my art, which is not really a good place to be in if you want to be an artist, because you kind of have to make money. So I view my business as like my day job, but I work for myself, so my day job can happen anytime I want, and I can have 80-hour work weeks, or I can have 10-hour work weeks, and I think it sort of evens out by the end of the year, because I'll go through like those intense periods of working and then pretty chill periods of working, more so out of necessity rather than like choice, because I just get so tired and burned out. But yeah, so like I don't want to be in Art Basil, so it's okay that I'm making art that's not in Art Basil, because I'm not I don't know. I'm not doing, like, that's not what I want to do. So it's like, why am I comparing myself to this person who's doing something, who's making beautiful artwork, but they're not doing what I really want to be doing, you know? I think that's something that I have to constantly remind myself of. It's like when you feel that twang of like, oh my gosh, that looks so cool, like, I wish I was doing that. And it's like, really? You sure about that? You sure you really want to be doing that? The answer is no. Not for me. Not personally. If it is something you want to be doing, then I think that can be very motivating, you know? It's like, okay, next year I want to do that. I want to be there. I want to be making that type of work. But that's not what, personally, it's not how I feel, you know? I think when I have found myself making art for other reasons outside of, I feel this compulsive need to make it, I want to make it, I want this idea that I have in my head to be real in the world, then it takes any sort of joy and fulfillment out of it. Like when I was posting my paintings a lot in 2020, 2021, it got to the point where I felt like I was making them just so I could make prints of them and so that I could make a short little video about them and get views. And I just felt that was very icky, and I didn't like the feeling that I had when that was what I was doing for my business, for my job. So I pivoted quite a bit for the past few years, and it has meant making less art, which is also not fun. So I've come to this point after being burned out where I've realized I just need to figure out what's enough for me. Like, what is enough? Like, what's the bare minimum I need to live on? How do I make that bare minimum? And then live my life and make YouTube videos and make rugs that may never see the light of day after I finish making them, just for the fact that I like making them and I feel the need to make them. And once I make them, I can move on to something else, you know? So that's how I feel about these rugs. I've made 5 of them, which is kind of crazy. And there's like a ton more that I want to do. And I like making them. You know, punch needling is, you come up with the design, but then it's just the same thing. Like I'm not doing anything different regardless of what I'm working on, you know? And I enjoy the act of punch needling. So it's like win-win, you know? And I've learned with punch needling, you can get very detailed, but with words, it's a little tricky to be super detailed and have it be legible on the opposite side, because this side I'm working on is like technically the back for this rug. If you're making your own rug thing, it can be, you can choose, it's your piece of art, you can choose which side is your front and which side is your back. I choose the other side to be the front, the like rug side. And when you do that, the way I do it, it's a little tricky to get words to translate the way you want them to. Like you can have it be legible, but it's more difficult to do it and have it be like the way you want. So I'm definitely still experimenting and figuring out how to get these words, this font, everything to look and read the way I want it to, which I think was the problem with the last rug. Like the smaller words just didn't look right. Getting everything to line up and then stretching it on a frame also messes with how things are. So you have to like fiddle with how you frame it and stretch it. So it's like a big learning thing, and I love that about making art, is like doing something, having it not work out, and then problem solving, trying it again with something else, having it work out, but then having something else be a little, and then tweaking it. I love that. I think it's fun. It's exciting. It's like you're discovering new things. I feel like I'm bringing in my STEM background when I do that, you know? I did not study art. Clearly. I'm not an art Basil. Maybe I am a little bitter. I think it's just something about it, you know, it's like the glitz and the glamour of the art world is alluring to so many people. And I get it, but it's like this weird thing. It's like, why? It's like, oh, you just want the validation, you know? At least for me. That's why I feel that twinge of like, oh, I'm not, you know? I don't know. You're an artist, whether you make art for galleries or for yourself, you know? Whatever you say is art, no matter if it took you 2 seconds or 2 decades. It's still art. In my mind, that's my definition of art, is when someone makes something and they say, this is art. You say, ah, okay. Maybe I don't like it. Maybe I wouldn't make that and call it art, but you made it and you're calling it art, so it is art. So that's my definition. And then you don't get in arguments with people online about, yep, I'm just making my little rug just for me, you know? I don't know. I don't think anyone would want to buy this. I wouldn't want to sell it currently, so it's just for me, really. And I think it's hard to have that. It's hard to do that, you know? Not everyone is able to just make things because they want to all the time, and I definitely can't. I don't, but I feel very lucky when I can, because there was a point in time not so long ago when I didn't feel this way about making my own art. I was like not even sure if I'd ever, not ever, but I just wasn't really sure about how I felt about making art. But like I said, it's a compulsion, you know? It comes and it bites me regardless, you know? I gotta make something. I have this idea, I gotta make it, see what happens. Try it out. Let's just try it out and see what it looks like. I don't consider myself very passionate about art. You know, it's not like I could sit and talk for hours about it. There are other things I definitely could sit and talk for hours about, like flowers, flower farming, cut flower farming, the Everglades, you know, global amphibian declines. My AC has turned on, which means if my audio is okay, it'll be trash now. So I'm gonna work on this. I've been talking long enough. Maybe I'll post this as like a podcast type thing. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna keep working. Okay.
And then it'll cut back to me here now. I literally haven't moved. And that's the power of editing, you know? It's just movie magic. And I thank you for watching. Thank you for being here all the way to the end. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my YouTube channel whatever I want it to be. So if you enjoy this type of content, thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want me to keep making videos about all the random things that I do, whether it's just me talking or a highly edited video with a picture of me kissing George W. Bush when I was 6, liking and commenting and subscribing is great. If you want to go above and beyond, you can join my Patreon. It's $2 a month. I don't make any promises over there, except that I will keep doing this more frequently and maybe better and higher quality. I don't know. Maybe I'll actually get a microphone. Ooh. Maybe I'll actually use the lav mic that I bought 5 years ago and have yet to actually ever put batteries in and try out. Like maybe I'll do that if you join my Patreon. I don't know. No promises. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. I'd really love to hear, especially if you are thinking or feeling or have ever dealt with burnout or have thought about that concept of like, what's your enough? Or maybe that's new for you and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We can have a little chat, little conversation. I read every single comment. I might not respond because I'm socially anxious and I'm bad with words and I cannot spell. If you saw my last video, I have a hard time spelling. And I actually messed up the spelling on this rug as well. But I fixed it in both of them. And yes, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video. Well, I won't see you, you'll see me. It's like how the camera goes, so. All right, bye. And that's the truth, folks. Hyping myself up for what, Gwyneth? Going on a big mission with the boys.